Hi! You might have remembered in a previous video that I talked about this neat keyboard that I found while I was on a trip. It's called the Stage Vintage 1 and it's made by Korg. And that's what I have sitting in front of me today. And today I'm going to be doing an in-depth, kind of like a review type of thing, talking about what I like about the keyboard and the few things that I don't like about it, and just overall just talking about it. So let's start off over here on the left and go down through the panel. Now first of all, before we even do that, let's talk about what's kind of neat about this keyboard in general, and specifically about this panel. Sometimes when you go into like a music store and you look at some of these high-end like synthesizer keyboards and controllers and stuff, some of them have like all kinds of knobs and dials and buttons and screens and stuff on them, and they're really confusing, so I don't understand how they work, so I can't fully appreciate them. This one here, however, I can fully appreciate because it's all laid out really, really simply. You have your sounds and you have your adjustments and you have some other little things, but it's all really just basic and obvious as to what does what and where everything is. Alright, now that I got that out of the way, let's come over here and just start from the left and go down to the right and talk about everything that's on this panel. So let's start over here with this tube. Now this tube here gives this keyboard this really nice warm sound, and it definitely does its job, and I think this tube here is why I like this keyboard so much, or at least it's one of the reasons why. Next up, we have the master volume. That's kind of self-explanatory. Do we need to say much more? I don't think so. Then next over here we have an equalizer, and so you probably know what this does, but I will talk about it anyways. Basically you have your bass, your mid, and your treble, and so you can turn those up and down however you please. And you also have a power switch just for the equalizer. So what this does is, if it's off, basically it just resets everything to 0. That's what it seems like it does. But then when you turn it on, you can customize the sound. So for example, if you switch it off, if you play something like this, and then if you turn it on, oops, I didn't hit it. That's one of the things I don't like about this keyboard. These buttons here are kind of touchy. If you hit them too fast, they don't trigger all the time. So let's try that again. You can hear it's got lots more bass. It just sounds fuller when that's on. So that's what the equalizer does. You can switch it on and off just for easy adjustment. It's kind of cool. Now let's come over here to the pre-effects. You have 6 different types of effects. You have comp, boost, U-vibe, vibrato, tremolo, and vox wah. And I'm not too sure what the boost and the comp ones do. I'm not sure like how to describe what they do. I mean, the boost kind of seems to make it like more overdriven, kind of, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, the U-vibe though, it kind of gives it like this wavering effect sound. It's kind of neat. The vibrato gives it this faster type of sound. It's kind of similar to what my Vibrato amp does. And then you have the tremolo, which is actually more similar to what my amp would do. And then the vox wah is kind of fun. So then over here with the amp model, this is kind of, the way I think of it is, it's kind of like an amp simulator. So basically, if you switch it off, you just have the stock sound of the piano, the sound that you're using. But then, if you turn it on, it will change the sound based on which amp you have it on. Sometimes it's kind of subtle, other times it's kind of obvious. That one's like really overdriven and strange sounding. But basically this allows you to have even more sound customization over the sound of the thing. And you also have this drive knob. And so what this does is you can turn this up, and then since it's literally turning the gain up on the amp simulator, you're going to want to turn your master volume down. The drive gives it an overdriven sound. Which is kind of cool in some circumstances. Now over here we have a favorites pad. And so what this is it's basically kind of like your presets on the radio. And so you can actually program your own sounds from the keyboard onto here. So say you were working on a sound and you're like, oh, I like this, but I'd change all the adjustments and it would take forever to get back to it. All you have to do is set a favorite. And so you can just hit the button and return to whatever sound it was. I did this the other day. This little sound that I thought was pretty cool. And it also comes with some that are pre-programmed into the computer. Like this one here, you have like an acoustic piano up top, and then you have a bass down here, or something that sounds kind of like a bass, which is kind of neat. So there's all of these different favorite buttons, which I think is really cool. And you have a total of 8, and so there's probably more than enough than what the average user would need on here. Now let's talk about the sounds, because we've come to this part of the keyboard. Now there's a whole lot of different sounds, and I'm not going to be going over each and every one of these sounds because there's like 36 different sounds, but I'm going to be talking about some of my favorites here. The one that when you first turn on the keyboard, the first one that it goes to is the ThePianoforever, and that one just has a classic 1970s-ish sound, and it's pretty cool. Let's see what I can do here. Sound to it. And then there's a whole bunch of other sounds. So for each sound category, you have ePiano1, ePiano2, clavichord, acoustic piano, organ, and then other. You have 6 different variations. And so in the ePiano1 category, you have like this sound, which is very strange. And there's 6 different variations on the sound, which is really cool. But that sounds neat. And then you have ePiano2, which is all different types of sounds. You have clavichord stuff. Then you have an acoustic piano sound. You got organ sound, which is cool. The other category, which is kind of like just miscellaneous things. We've got a really cool string sound effect here. This is one of my favorites on the whole piano. It's just rich and full and really cool sound. We have some weird like synthy thing. Some other just other random stuff. So basically that's the sound category, and it's got all kinds of neat stuff. I love how many different sounds there are on this thing, and I also love all the different stuff you can do with the sound. Now over here we have the Modulation Effects category. And so what this does is just modulate the sound even more. And I haven't even messed with this all that much, so I'm not too well versed in what it does, but you have like chorus sounds. So it kind of sounds like there's multiple keyboards playing. Phasers, what do these do? Oh, they kind of make that kind of sound. We got speed and intensity. Phaser 2. Different type of sound. Whoa. Whoa. That's cool. So the flanger kind of like takes the sound and like warps it back and forth. Interesting. Then the rotary, I'd imagine, is mostly for organs. Yeah, see, it automatically defaults to it when you switch to the organ. It gives it the classic organ sound. So then over here we have reverb and delay. And so that is probably pretty self-explanatory as well. It basically adds reverb to the sound. And so you have, you know, like, that's not a whole lot of reverb, but then when you turn it way up, you can hear there's a lot more. There's different settings. Again, there's the hall, which sounds like it's in a giant auditorium. I'm turning it way up so you can hear the obvious effect of it. You have room, which just makes it sound like it's in a small room. not much reverb. Then you have some other odd effects over here. What does this one do? Oh, it's like reverb, but it's like bouncing back and forth. It's a very strange thing. Then you have the tape echo, which is fun. It like repeats what it just played. And then you have the ST delay, and I'm not sure what this one does. Oh, weird. Interesting. So those are the effects over here. Like I said, I haven't messed around too much with these ones, but those are basically what they do. And then finally, we have come to the last thing. This is obviously the power switch. And again, another thing I like about this keyboard, because it's really satisfying to click. It feels nice. It makes a nice sound, and it's just cool. I like these knobs. They're cool. Makes a cool sound. It feels solid. It's like I'm turning it on. I'm turning it off. It's a weird little thing to like about a keyboard, but it's cool. Now let's talk about a couple of things I don't like about this keyboard. And while we're on the subject of knobs and switches, let's talk about these switches here. So as you probably see, there's a few different types of like knobs. You have these ones that have like the 6 different positions. These ones are really clicky and they're like really solid. There's not much like slop in them. But these ones here that turn a lot easier, they kind of like flop around a bit. And it's not a big deal because they work and they do what they're supposed to do. But it is kind of weird, like when you're turning it, to have it wiggling around. So that's one small little thing I don't like about the keyboard, because you know it's an expensive thing, and you'd think that they'd put like the highest quality knobs in there, and I'm not sure those are the highest quality knobs. I would have liked to see more like solid knobs like that one. Now let's talk about a couple of the sounds I don't like on here, and that would be the acoustic piano sounds. I think they're just too bright and thin, and on other keyboards I've played, the piano sounds are absolutely phenomenal, like on the Kawai MP11. They have some really, really good acoustic piano sounds on there, and this, not so much. I mean, it works, it's okay, it would do the job, but it's got a nice bass. As far as like up in this region, it's really bright and thin, and I'm not a big fan of that. And I think that's about it for the stuff I don't like. And talk about one final thing that I do like about this keyboard, and that would be the action. I really, really like how it feels. It's really nice and smooth and light, and it feels like it's an actual piano. Now, it's not as good as some other keyboards that I've tried in the past, such as the Kawai MP11. That keyboard has the best action I've ever played on. But this one here is really nice too, and I think it gives a lot of other keyboards on the market a run for their money. Because for many years, that's the thing that I found keyboard actions to really lack in, would be the feel of the action. But as of recently, I've noticed that quite a few keyboards, this one, the MP11, stuff like that, really high-end stuff, the actions are really, really nice. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. And if you like stuff like this, videos like this, reviews, and just me talking about products, you might want to think about subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.